Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah.
Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina astafa. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد صلاة دائمة بدوامك. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وشفاء من كل داء. ربنا زدنا علما ربنا زدنا علما ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم اجعل حبك حب إلينا من أنفسنا وأهلنا ومن الماء البارد. أما بعد، فقال الشيخ ابن عطاء الله الإسكندري رحمه الله ونور الله مرقده وَنَفَعَنَا بِعُلُومِهِمْ آمين. A person who has acquired the ma'rifat of Allah, he has become an arif billah, then such a person has perceived Allah in everything. He sees Allah in every single thing. Subhanallah. Whoever has acquired the stage of fana, which is annihilation of the self and the nafs, then such a person has disappeared from all things. He has disappeared from all things. They don't even exist for him. The third stage is that of love. Whoever has made him, Allah Ta'ala, the beloved, then he has not chosen anyone else. So here the Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayh discusses three things, three stages: Ma'rifat, Fana, and Mahabba, love. Three great stages. The signs of the person who has acquired these three stages are explained. These are the alamat and the signs. The three stages are mentioned in order of priority. Ma'rifat, recognition of Allah, occupies the highest stage. Ya Allah. The next stage is fana, which is annihilation of the nafs, and he disappears from everything. And the next stage is mahabba and love. Love. When by virtuous deeds, amali salihah, obedience, ta'at, a man is made a perfect arif by the grace of Allah, then there is nothing in creation which can prevent him from making mushahada of his Rabb. There is nothing in creation that blocks him from perceiving his Rabb, mushahada, witnessing and perceiving his Rabb in the way the general public is prevented. He does not regard everything to be non-existent, as does one who is in the stage of fana. One who is in the stage of fana sees everything as non-existent. La mawjuda illallah. That the true existence is only Allah. He disappears from everything. So he does not regard, the one who is the Arif Billah, does not regard everything to be non-existent, as does one who is in the stage of Fana and has not yet reached the stage of Baqa. Since the Arif, which is the highest category of the saints and the awliya of Allah. Since the Arif is annihilated from all things, he is also annihilated from all things. And since he is perpetuated with Allah Ta'ala, Allah is always in his sight, Allah's dhikr is always in his mind, Allah's qudrat, Allah's signs, Allah's sifat are always manifested before him. Since the Arif is annihilated from all things and perpetuated with Allah Ta'ala and his sifat, he, the Arif, he sees everything. Unlike the person in a stage of Fana who sees nothing. He disappears from everything. But the Arif sees everything. He sees people. He sees the trees. He sees the birds, the bees. He sees everything. Everything he sees. The entire creation is in fact the athar, the atharat, the impressions, the effects, the reflection of the divine attributes and sifat of Allah. And that's how he sees them. He sees a tree growing. He sees a seed germinates and comes out from the ground. A seed was planted, then a shoot springs forward. He sees the attribute of rububiyat, lordship, Rabb, who nurtures everything. He sees a child is born. He hears the sound of a newborn babe. He sees Allah in that. He sees the power of the sifat of khaliqiyat, of being the khaliq, the sifat of khalq, of the khaliq, the creator. He sees everything, entire creation. And what a beautiful stage is that, subhanallah. Entire creation is in fact the athar, the impressions of the divine attributes. However, the Arif's gaze on created objects is not stationary. It's not stationary and focused on these things, as is the gaze of people in general, other people. Other people will see a beautiful rose, see how beautiful this is. They will see a nice lake, a nice scenario, beautiful mountain, sunrise, sunset, but their gaze is stationary. That's all. It is fixed on that. The Arif, he perceives Allah's attributes. He sees, that is the mushahada. He sees Allah's attributes and sifat in every item of creation. And what a wonderful stage is that. That is true happiness. Wow. That's the highest stage. But the thing is that to reach there, one has to go through mahabbat, then fana, then baqa, step by step. The one in the stage of fana, he does not see anything. He does not see anything, since he has disappeared from all and everything. So much so that he becomes oblivious of his own existence. It is said about Einstein, the great scientist and mathematician, that walking and he could have been overrun by a vehicle. So lost in thought he is, he not seeing no traffic, nothing. So much he's lost in thought. The one who is in fana is like that. He doesn't see anything. He only sees Allah. He's only concerned with the existence of Allah. Everything is non-existent to him. So much so that he becomes oblivious of his own existence. And sometimes he doesn't even comb his hair, doesn't even look at himself in the mirror. He becomes oblivious of his own existence. On earth, if a person is in love with someone, then the beloved is constantly in his mind and heart. In spite of others being in his presence, he remains detached from them, and sometimes is not even aware of their presence, because all that is in his heart is the beloved, even though he's in company of people. When a man who has not yet attained the stage of fana, so one was marifat, fana, now love. When a man who has not yet attained the stage of fana loves Allah, he's on the stage of love and mahabbat, he loves Allah, then although he does consider the existence of other things, he will not give preference to these things over Allah Ta'ala. He sees them, considers their existence. He knows them to be not the true existence, but he will not give preference to these things over Allah Ta'ala. He will accord priority to the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala, and he will crush his own desires. So these are the three great stages: mahabba, fana, marifat. قال الشيخ الإسكندري رحمه الله, it is only extreme proximity and nearness which has screened. That is what has screened nearness. Allah is so close to us that his being so close to us has screened us off of him. It's like when an object is brought so close to you, you can't see it. It's too close. It is only extreme proximity which has screened. On account of his extreme manifestation, his dhuhur, huwa dhahir, has he become veiled. On account of his being dhahir, he has become veiled. This is so beautiful, deep language. On account of his extreme manifestation, has he become veiled? His manifestation is too extreme, too intense. And by virtue of the splendor of his nur, has he become hidden from the eyes? Hijabuhu nur, Allah's hijab is nur. Law kashafahu lahtaraqat, law kashafahu la ahraqat subuhatu wajhihi mantaha ilayhi basaruhu. Here the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi states 3 reasons for Allah's Dhat, Allah's being, incomprehensible to man's understanding. 3 reasons. First is the intensity of his qurb, the intensity of Allah's nearness. What Quran says, huwa aqrabu ilayhi min hablil warid. He is closer to him than his jugular vein. Allah is so close that is what screens. It has already been explained earlier. It is only Allah Ta'ala who has qurbi haqiqi. Only Allah has true proximity with creation. The nature of this proximity is such that Allah Ta'ala is closer to everything than even their own being. As he mentions in the Quran, he is closer to us than our jugular veins. So the full comprehension of an object is possible when proximity to and distance from an observer are the correct degree. When that is at the correct degree, then we can get full comprehension of an object. Must be at the correct degree, correct distance, everything. If an object is at a great distance, visibility is reduced and it becomes invisible because it's too far. when the distance is excessive. Similarly, an object placed against the eyes, it's too near. The intensity, it's too near. Cannot be properly seen and properly comprehended. The same rule applies to spiritual vision and spiritual comprehension, which is called idrak, spiritual vision. Dilon ki aankhein, the eyes of the heart. Spiritual comprehension is called idrak. Same thing applies to this. Same rule applies to this also. Now, since Allah Ta'ala is closer to the Banda than his own being, neither his physical faculty of vision, his eyes, nor his spiritual faculty of vision can comprehend him. Neither physical, neither spiritual could comprehend Allah. Because he's too close to the Banda. No one, therefore, can comprehend him. Whatever is comprehended of Allah Ta'ala by his elite servants, the awliya, they are the elite servants of Allah on this earth. They are the elite. Whatever is comprehended of Allah Ta'ala by his awliya is infinitesimal, because Allah Ta'ala is extremely close to man. Thus, extreme proximity, being too close, constitutes a veil. Just as too much of distance constitutes a veil. This is one reason for man's inability to comprehend Allah Ta'ala. Another reason is that Allah is more conspicuous than everything else. Allah is more conspicuous than everything else. That is why one of the names of Allah is Al-Zahir. Al-Zahir. Laysa fawqahu shay. He's also Al-Batin. Laysa dunahu shay. So as a result, Allah is so Zahir and so conspicuous, more conspicuous than everything else. It's just that we fail to see Him. And we veil ourselves by these imaginary existences, and we cannot see beyond, and our gaze is like the general public, stationary. As a result of intense manifestation, He, Allah, is beyond the comprehension of the physical and spiritual eyes. For example, the gaze of man is unable to stare even at the sun by virtue of the intensity of its illumination, although the sun is a lowly creature of Allah Ta'ala. You can't even look at the sun. The intensity of manifestation, intensity of nur and light, you can't look at it. And that's the lowly makhluk of Allah. What then can be imagined of the nur of the Khaliq? If that nur was to be revealed, then whatever Allah's vision would fall upon, everything will be burnt. When Allah revealed just a bit of His nur to the mountain Tur, where Musa was, it crumbled into pieces. What then can be imagined of the nur of the Khaliq? It is a limitless manifestation. The mushahada, the qurb, nearness, and wusul, arrival, which the Sufiya Kiram experience. What does that mean then? That mushahada, that divine perception, that marifat, that wusul, they have attained the love of Allah, they have reached, which the Sufiya experience as simply the yaqeen of his being, that they have firm yaqeen in the existence of Allah, كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ. Now we understand the hadith. To worship Allah as though you see Him. What yaqeen? فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. And if you cannot worship Allah as though you see Him, no, Allah is seeing you and watching you. This is mushahada. That is the mushahada. My Lord is aware. Allahu hadiri. Allah is present by me. He is never absent. Allahu nadiri, Allah is watching me. Allahu ma'i, Allah is with me. Wa huwa ma'akum aynama kuntum. He is with you wherever you are. He is with you wherever you are, whether you are in the jungle, alone, in the sea, in the skies, on the earth, in a cave, wherever you are. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. This is what is known as the mushahada, this yaqeen. These things are simply the yaqeen of his being and of their perception of closeness to him. Their perception of closeness and qurb to him. This is the deep mushahada. Not that the spiritual eyes can comprehend him, nor the physical eyes, because of two things: too much of closeness, and the other one, too much of zuhur and manifestation. Total comprehension, idrak, of the divine that is an impossibility, and this is not the place for it. It can only occur in the akhirah. How is it conceivable for Allah Ta'ala, the glorious and the splendid, to be veiled from anything when He is al-Zahir? His illumination, His nur, is manifest in even the object which constitutes the veil. Most times, these things that we see around us, they veil us from Allah. They veil us from Allah. But they are not supposed to really veil us, because these are the things that are just a reflection of the sifat of Allah. So His illumination is so manifest in even the object which constitutes the veil. His existence, wujud, and presence are conspicuous even in the object which is a veil. Because for most of the people, this world veils them from Allah. All they see is material, dunya. All they see is means. And they don't see musabbibul asbab, the creator of these means. Yet even in these means, which are so-called veils, even in that is the manifestation of Allah. An object cannot be comprehended or perceived on account of two reasons: intensity of proximity and manifestation. Too much of qurb, too much of zuhur. This is confirmed for the dhat of Allah Ta'ala. 2, distance or to be far away. This does not apply to Allah Ta'ala. Here the Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi states that it is not conceivable for Allah Ta'ala to be veiled by anything, nor can He be at a distance from anything. Allah's illumination is conspicuous, so conspicuous that His nur is even in an object which is regarded to be a hijab and veil. He exists. That is the meaning of al-Zahir. How many times we heard about the 99 names of Allah, but did we understand al-Zahir? Who is really al-Zahir? Now we understand who is al-Zahir. He exists. He is present. He is conspicuous, al-Zahir. Hence nothing can veil Him. Every object is a saya, a dhil, a shadow, a reflection of His beauty. You look at, when we talk about beauty, we think about women. Women are beautiful, are they not? Beautiful. They look so delicate, so beautiful, with the long hair. Beautiful woman. Sometimes women are given tashbih with the moon. Roses are red, my love. Violets are blue. Sugar is sweet, my love, but not as sweet as you. So even in beauty, in your children, in your daughter, in your spouse, in your wives, you see beauty. That is also a reflection of the sifat of Allah. Inna Allaha Jameel, yuhibbul Jamal. Allah exists. Allah is present. Allah is conspicuous. Hence nothing can veil Allah. If we can understand this, and if we could really, Allah can make this easy for us. Every object is a reflection of His beauty. So when we see the beauty of a rose, or of a sunset, or a sunrise, or of the beauty of a woman, it's a reflection of Allah's beauty. His sifat is being reflected. It's like a mirror. or it's like a shade of the sifat of Allah. Every object is a reflection of His beauty and splendor, which are being mirrored. The wasawis, the stray thoughts, are regarded by the salik to be a veil. Sometimes we get too much of waswasa, stray thoughts. And they are regarded by the salik to be a veil because of the paucity of his basirat and spiritual insight. Well, he's a beginner, he's a salik, he's a beginner. And his spiritual insight is lacking. If his basira is the eyes of the heart, the spiritual vision, the third eye, the sixth sense. If his basira is correct, then you know what? Waswasa, will not perturb him, nor even appear as a veil. Even these stray thoughts, these kawatir, these wasawis, are displays of his qudra. Wow. Even these stray thoughts and these wasawis and kawatir are displays of his qudra and power. Lifting your sight to the endurance of things besides Allah and fearing others are proof that you have not reached Him. As a sign, lifting your sight to the baqa, to the endurance of things besides Allah, and fearing others are not proof that you have, these things are proof that you have not reached Him. Commentary. When man desires that a thing remains with him forever, when man desires that something remains with him forever, he doesn't want it to go. Whether it be worldly wealth, property, or even spiritual states, like kashf and karamat, spiritual states. When he desires that these things remain with him forever, it indicates that he lacks the treasure of wusul ilallah. It shows that he lacks the treasure of wusul ilallah, which is union with Allah, arrival at that station. He lacks that treasure. If he had attained wusul, union with Allah, and arrival, his heart would not have hankered after the perpetuation of these things, whether it be worldly or spiritual. Similarly, when man fears the loss or reduction of those objects, it is indicative of him lacking wusul ilallah. He has not arrived. If man acquires the true treasure, which is divine proximity, the qurb, he will never be concerned by the loss of any other object. Example, to understand this. If man acquires the true treasure, what is the true treasure? Qurb, divine proximity, wusul, arrival, all mean the same. If he acquires that, he will never be concerned by the loss of any other object, whether it be worldly or spiritual. And to understand that, example, a man possesses a copper coin of insignificant value, and he also has a gold coin of considerable value. If he loses the copper coin, but he has possession of the gold coin, he will not be perturbed and disturbed. But if a man becomes despondent at the loss of a copper coin of insignificant worth, it will be concluded that he does not have gold. He has no gold. If he had gold, he never missed that. He doesn't have gold, hence his concern for the copper. So if we had gold, what is gold here? Qurbe ilahi. What is gold? Wusul ilallah. We will not be concerned with the loss, or be worried about the loss of anything, even of this world, spiritual things like worldly wealth, power, or even spiritual states like kashf and karamat. Thus the salik who lays claim, that salik who lays claim to divine proximity and qurb, he should examine himself on this standard. This is the miyar, this is the gauge. The salik who lays claim to divine proximity should examine himself on this standard. This is the miyar. Am I worried over the loss of a copper coin or not? Do I have the gold or not? If he does not hanker after the perpetuation of things, that things must be perpetual, remain with him. If he doesn't hanker after that, nor does the loss of things affect him, if he doesn't hanker after the dawam, the perpetuality of things, nor does the loss of things affect him like the copper coin, then this state of his heart indicates attainment of proximity and qurb ilallahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what the time allows us here. Wal asr. Asr is about to finish. We will stop here for this term. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Social expectation drowns us all inside. What you have should be what I want, 'cause what I have just ain't alright.